What's up?
What is up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You're looking svelte, looking good. How are
Man,
you?
you too, man. Look at you.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. I can't believe it. I really never thought I'd get back to it. I really didn't.
Are you playing soccer again?
I played twice this week. I played Monday and Tuesday.
No way.
I swear it's the first. And I was the dude last night. I was like, this is the first time I played back-to-back nights. I bet in 20 years. I always gave myself, like usually it never kind of turned out that way. So feel
Well, tell
great.
me, tell me about, a little bit about the journey, man. Like, can you give the people that are going to watch this an idea of where you were when we first started?
Yeah. So, for me, I was just kind of growing up. I grew up an athlete, always really skinny, fit, in good shape. And then after college, like everybody else, just kind of, life takes over. I spent a lot of time in sales, so I spent a ton of time on the road. And for me, I ended up, as I travel, I'm on the road 3 nights a week, 4 days a week, always having, meals out, and then never making time for other things. It just kind of slowly escalated. Stopped working out, stopped doing anything, and made excuses for it all, and just in terms of different ways to kind of come about it. So by the time, let's see, I graduated college at 185 pounds. And by the time you and I kind of reconnected, I was up to 251 pounds. It was kind of my highest weight.
Yeah.
And throughout that journey, like I'm at 225, and I think, well, at 230 I'm going to do something. And at
Yeah.
235, I'm like, well, 240 I'm definitely going to do something. And so finally it got to the point where had some great friends that got us in contact. So Craig was always really good about saying, like, hey, stay on top of it. Here's what you can do, and here's some ideas. And finally getting in contact with you just kind of, was finally the thing that held me accountable to say it's time to really invest in myself.
Yeah.
Instead of always just waiting for the next milestone to come and the next pant size and all that
Do you
stuff.
think do you think it would have gotten worse, right? I mean, that's the way it had been.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way. And so I always had the joke when I was in college. My college soccer coach was overweight, and he was a big guy. And I was always, I could never believe that he was an athlete as a young man. You know how like perspective changes.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I hope I never get that way. And then I started seeing myself and like the extra chins in the mirror, and you're like, holy smokes, like it's happened. And I played in an alumni soccer event last summer. And like you always like view yourself in certain ways, and I still kind of always viewed myself as a slender guy. And I saw these pictures, and it was just like, well, I mean, like filling out extra large shirts, and I was like, holy smokes, I got to do something. um, and so I think that was July,
Yeah.
August last year. And then we got connected in October of last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
It wasn't long after that I saw, and I was like, oh, it's time. It's time.
And was it the pictures and obviously Craig? Was that like the straw that broke the camel's back?
I think so. The pictures for me was kind of the big thing, like seeing it and realizing, you always know you're checking things out. And then, I always find myself like getting ready for work. I wear a suit, when I'm out working, and, all of a sudden those buttons aren't fitting as well. And I'm always kind of pulling it tight. And, just all these little things start to hit. And once once I saw those pictures, I realized, man, it's time to change it up, man. I got to do something different.
So here we are, like what, 6 months later? No, wow, like 9 months later, pretty
Yeah.
much. Where are you now? You started at 250.
Started at 251. So in the 3 month process where we worked intensively together, which was dramatic. It was early on. I told you from the beginning, I just want to build good habits.
Yeah.
And if I can build the right habits over time, I'm not as concerned about getting to a number. And I was thinking in my mind, if I got to if I lost 30 pounds,
Yeah.
and I went from 251 to 221, that would be beyond what I thought I could do. I just really didn't think I could do it.
Right.
And I remember you telling me, like on our first call, like look, I can get you to 50 pounds, but we're not going to focus on the weight loss. We're going to focus on the behaviors. And
Yeah.
once I started doing that, the weight loss was slow early, but I built the right habits. And then from that, like I dropped 10, 12 pounds relatively quickly. But then it took a little while. It seems to me like between the end of the second month and to the third month through the third month was when things kind of really took off.
Yeah.
And I could see the change. Like early on, you didn't see it as much.
Yeah.
But little things started to kind of show. I told you one of my first goals was, when I wore a sweater with a button up on underneath it, like you could see the round buttons in the sweater, right? Because my stomach was hurting. I was like, man, I got to get rid of that. And I remember like a couple months in, I was like, holy smokes, like they're gone. And so those little things started to kind of pick up. And so I ended our time at 40 pounds lost in the 3 months.
Yeah.
And then since then, I've continued to kind of stay on it. Not quite as diligent as I should be, obviously, through all this kind of stuff with COVID. But I'm down. I finally hit the 201 mark, which was 150 pounds. Which was 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And so, down to 201. I hit that last week.
Amazing.
I went on vacation and celebrated a little too long. So I was at 202 today when I went.
That's amazing though. But the great thing is you know what to do. Like, is that like, do you feel like that you have the confidence, not only the confidence, but the tools and like to do whatever you want? Like you're in control now?
And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like I don't worry about it because I know exactly what to do. I know what works. And I know when I do certain things, it can change, pretty quickly. And so it's just a matter of staying diligent. And the idea, like we're talking about, like if I'm building the right habits and I do that over a 3-4 month period, then it's much easier to kind of take a break off, for a week and vacation, have a good time, eat what I want. And then when I come back, I can just kind of get right back in routine and rhythm.
Right.
And it kind of works really easily. So I think the confidence of like knowing what to do, there for a while, I was always, man, if I'm going to go through this, I want it to change for the long term. Right. And I don't want to I've seen a lot of people kind of yo-yo, right? They do something dramatic, they get really skinny, and then they go back to their habits and things start to, just go back to the way they were.
What are the chances? What are the chances that happens to you?
For me, zero. Like I know one, I'm scared to death of it. Two, I didn't think I had the discipline to do it, to be honest. But now that I've built that and I know, and I've got the tools to be able to do it, and I've got you to be able to like, hey, if I need something else or something's not working right, I know I can kind of reach out and kind of working through it together, but just still having that accountability that like, hey, I'm representing you, I'm representing, my family, I'm representing Craig, people who really were behind me this whole time to say like, hey, we've got to stick with this. And I don't want it to just be, remember that year that you got skinny and then things kind of went back to normal. So I feel good and confident that this is it's a lifestyle change. It's not just, I didn't go on a diet just to kind of lose weight.
Right. And I think it's how awesome is that you're like running around on the soccer field again. Like, I just think that's amazing.
It's so unbelievable. Like I've played a little bit throughout the years and, lugging around that extra 30, 45, 50 pounds, like I just couldn't have fun. Right. And playing at a level when you're used to being able to do what you want. And now the body just can't even do basic stuff. To get out, play, have a good time, enjoy. Like the enjoyment is back that I didn't have before. And I think that's the nice part about it, is being able to play 2 nights in a row and not think anything about it. And my legs don't hurt. I work at a stand-up desk. So, it's not like I have sore legs today after playing for 2 hours last night. And so it's, I was tired, but it's not the same, right? It's a good tired.
It's funny because I want to ask you this question because I joke when I approach people. And, when I first talked to you, you were like, there's no way, like, this is just too good to be true. And every conversation when I have with a new client or a new coaching client, I'll say, like, listen, the goal is to teach you something, powerful, simple, and sustainable, right? And I don't want it to be hard. I want this to be like, I want like mental clarity. I want energy. I don't want this to be grueling or, torture, which is normally, the experience for a lot of people that are used to yo-yoing and have dieted, throughout their entire life. And then they come to me and the communication is a little bit different. Like, how far off was I when I said those things to you, and like where you are now?
I think you weren't far off at all. I think it was exactly what you said, because the thing that I got the most from it was the support of when, you always kind of remind me, like, hey, don't feel guilty. Like if I did something, or, I had a client out for dinner and we had a big meal, and I ate everything on the table. It's like, look, no guilt, just get back to it. Right. And it's one of those things of that kind of continues to help me learn. And I told you, even when we were done, like, I'm still a little concerned with how to cheat and learning how to cheat, and not just falling back into the same habits. That stuff just kind of builds over time. And next thing you know, I'm eating a whole bag of Doritos while I'm sitting there watching a movie or whatever.
Right.
And so I think all of that, one, it was always really, really simple. And we started out in a way where our communication was just, hey, here are the things that you do. Here's the support that you need. And then just let's work through it day by day. And once I started to build that habit, in the way that it takes time to build real habits, no different than anything else. Just the more I did it, the more support that was there. It never felt to me like I was in a place where I couldn't do the things I wanted to, or I was dreading, kind of the next step or anything like that. Once I started and the support was there, it felt really normal to me. It never turned into a something that felt like I was doing it just because you were hounding me, right? I was making the changes. You were there to support me. And it was much more simplistic than I thought it was going to be.
Right. It's and look, the important thing is that we were shooting for health. And I think I really hammered that home with you too, is like, let's let fat loss be a byproduct and weight loss be a byproduct of you getting healthy. But the sustainability of it too is like, and you're obviously, living that right now. It is sustainable.
Yeah. And I think that's the big thing, right? It's just, it's a constant like of just being attuned to what I eat, right? And the real food kind of mindset just always sticks with me. And so anytime I need, I feel like I need something, a snack, I feel like I need a little bit, here and there to get me through, instead of just picking up what's convenient, right? It's finding something that is, that's a little more, that is just real stuff, right?
Right. Fuel. You're eating. I think the bottom line is you're looking at food in a different way. Your relationship with food is different. Can I be honest with? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Because I remember like you used to say like, oh, I'm in a hotel or I'm out to dinner, and there was no really any structure. There was no rhyme or reason. It was just like I feel like having that. And I think now, and tell me if I'm wrong, you're looking at food as like that's what my body needs. It's a fuel source.
Yeah, because you feel so much better. Like when I eat processed foods over time, I realize how different I feel as a result of it. And so, it becomes every now and again, there is that treat that's out there, and I don't feel guilty about doing that and having that. But it's not the norm, right? And so the norm for me is trying to make sure that, and really because it's a habit, I really don't even think about it as much anymore.
Right.
What I start to think about is, when am I going to get that fun meal, and what's it going to be, and I can plan ahead for it, because everything else.
Strategy, like really strategically putting it in a place. In your week. Yeah. So real quick, like I think a lot of people have this misconception that exercise is like, I've got to kill myself. I've got to get sore. I've got to be sweating. More is better mentality when it comes to exercise. And I know that may have even played a role in the reluctancy to even come on board with me. Like, I don't know if I can, I'm 50 pounds overweight. Like, I'm not sure I can do what you tell me to do, Matt. I don't think I'm capable. I don't want to hurt myself. Like, tell me where you were mentally when it came to exercise in the very beginning, and how I was kind of able to like say, hey, let's focus on this first, and we'll ease into that. Just so people know that exercise is a piece of the puzzle, and it's a pillar, and it's an important pillar in my program, and feeling better and reaching those goals. But putting it in a place like, I guess, emphasizing something that's more important versus exercise, or instead of exercise. Where's your take on that?
Yeah. So when I first started, those were the excuses I told myself. I hate being sore. I don't like working out, right? I'm not going to go to a gym and embarrass myself. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And just all these different things. They were just excuses I told myself around why I didn't do it, but I just stopped exercising. And so I think, it became the thing that you work with that I loved was the small incremental steps of just, start with movement, just movement of any kind.
Yeah.
So just doing a 10 or 15 minute kind of moving and stretching video with you was the very beginning of that. And so even did it, I never got sore from that, right? It didn't take a bunch of time, but I built the habit of doing that. And then for me, it was just walking. And this may not be the way that everybody else does it. I never got into a bunch of the extreme workouts. You're never going to see me in a CrossFit gym. I still couldn't do a pull-up if I wanted to, right? But I think the piece for me was just movement and your support to say like, hey, just start somewhere. And once I started with those small incremental bits of things and the habit of doing that, right? And if you read books on and listen to people who talk about creating habits, sometimes we make it into this big thing. Like the goal is to be able to do 50 push-ups and 15 pull-ups or whatever. For me, it was I just want to build the habit of sitting down and doing something, some kind of movement 5 times a week. And one, then even if it was just for 5 minutes at a time, at least I'm getting myself used to the fact that I'm going to do something. And so that may have been why I didn't see dramatic results of 50, 60 pounds in the first 3 months like other people could, because I didn't do a lot of the sweat equity that comes with that. I kind of took it easy, movement, food, behavior, and kind of health changes.
Well, I remember when we first started, when you were traveling, and I was like, hey, do the mobility video, joint by joint mobility, do the core 4 matrix, and we started with that, and you were like, man, I'm feeling really good. And then we added walking in the mix, and then the walking became a habit, right? And then we added in a little bit more exercise progressively as we move forward into our second and third month. But it was kind of step by step building the foundation around movement, not exercise, not fitness necessarily. So we kind of tricked you into into burning more calories and the benefits that come from exercise, because you like to play sport, and I think that's important too. Like, it's I don't like to exercise, I like to play a sport, right? So sometimes that plays into people's goals right there. So but I think that's what holds people back sometimes. And I love what you're saying right there, because it did the same thing with you.
Yeah, it did forever, right? And it was just one of the things that I always told myself. So as I lied to myself and tried to make excuses for it, it just turned into, hey, once I started to do it little by little, and just that movement piece was kind of that, for lack of a better term, that slippery slope that really turned into not, by the time I progressed to doing the workouts that did, kind of challenge me in a lot of ways. And I was sore trying to sit down on the toilet, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Once I got there, I didn't dread it like I did before, right?
Yeah.
The soreness wasn't I hate the soreness. It was, you realize it's part of the progress that's there. And I had never seen it that way. And so the progression of movement helped shift that mindset unconsciously. I didn't come up with it, right?
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
That means a lot, man. That means a lot because it worked, and I know it does, but you can always lead a person to the water, and but psychologically, how do I get Ben to drink it? And we did it kind of step by step. And look
That's
at
it,
you.
man. I mean, look, you changed my life in the way that I look at things and how I do it. Obviously, it's a lot of it's physical, but the biggest chunk of it's mental. And it comes back to, I think the biggest thing is the confidence that you talked about. Like, you remember talking to me the very first time we kind of got on a Zoom call, and it was like, I was pretty empty. I didn't not there. Just because I didn't believe in myself that I could do it. And so your belief in me and then the steps to do it, it changed everything for me.
No, you look, it's not just the physical, but your face, the color of your skin, you can see the confidence and your posture, and you're stronger. And, I'm sure you have a better self-image of yourself. Yeah. Yeah. No talking. That old Ben, he was a good guy too. He was a good guy. I like this guy.
Hey, I'm not looking to turn back. I'm not looking to turn back.
And the wife likes everything too? She likes the way where you're at?
Absolutely. It's been fantastic. Super proud. And just, like the family, as they see me, like you see the family a little bit over time, and now they're all like, I'm really worried about Ben. Is he not eating? And, all this stuff. And it's like, I'm being healthy. They were used to, kind of plump, round, big cheeks and extra chin guys.
Yeah.
And so it's been fun to kind of surprise some people. And when they see me eating healthy, and they think I'm not eating right because I'm not eating everything that I used to eat.
Right.
And so it's been fun to kind of be that for the family. And
awesome.
Everybody starts asking, what do you do? And at first I was thinking, oh, it wasn't that much. It was just intermittent fasting and then walking. And it's like, well, no, I changed my diet. And, like, all of a sudden, all these things come in the mix.
Yeah, it's
and
a lot.
when I try to explain it to people, it may sound like, oh, I can't do all of that. But the process that we went through was little by little. And it came down. And once we started to change the habits and we reinforced that over time.
You ran with it.
It's like I said, it's life changing. Because I'm not going to go back to the way that it was.
That's awesome, man. That's that's just music to my ears, man. I really appreciate you trusting in me and, trusting in the process and being coachable. And one last question. What's some advice you could give to someone else that was in your place, that could be in your same place, reluctant, scared, and, wants to do something, but doesn't know where to start and begin? What could you say to that person?
I think for me, it's the investment in self, right? And what is that worth to you? And sometimes, you look at all these different things and people try to make excuses for time and effort and other things, work-life balance. And, work is crazy. And so I was there for the longest time doing the same thing. But I think for me, it just really came down to, I'm going to invest in myself. And when I do that, I'm not going to allow myself to fail. Right. Yeah. And so it's why from the beginning I said, look, I trust you. I know you have a plan, but you've got to make sure that this plan works for me, because I need to build the right habits.
Right.
I don't want it to be a 3-month process or a 6-month process and be done with it and then just go back.
Right.
And so that was the way I looked at it was, this is an investment in me that's long-term, and there's nothing I would there's no amount of money, for me that I would change in terms of how I feel now as a result of it. There's nothing to compare it with. So for me, an investment is the way I always look at it.
Yeah.
In me and who I am and what I'm doing, and what I can be for my family and those around me, and to watch people respond to that change over time. Yeah. Everybody know what you do. And when you try to just help them see, like, hey, it's building habits, right? It's healthy life, all that. So that's probably.
So obviously you pay attention to what you pay for. We've talked about that. The investment in yourself, and the coaching, the customized coaching. I think as an athlete, you realize the benefits of having a coach. And that's why it was imperative that you were compliant to, and for me to customize it to meet you where you were at, also not go too far, because I could have ran you off as well. So I think the customized coaching is also what kept you there, moving forward and progressing and seeing those results too.
Absolutely. Yeah. That daily contact and just having you, kind of there, the accountability piece, just continued to help me, know that, hey, somebody else is taking note of what I'm doing as well.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy for people to be like, oh, that's great that you're doing something for yourself. And then, when you fall by the wayside, it just becomes expected. Right. Yeah. And so to know that when everybody else forgets that I'm trying something new and doing something different, you were there to just every day, right? Constantly throughout the day.
Yeah.
Continues to remind me, help me, guide me, support me. And I think that was the biggest thing. I never felt like you were, just harping on me, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. It was always very supportive, what I needed at the time. And it's, like I said,
in your business,
we know it works.
I was in your business daily. Like, damn, is Matt again?
No, man, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
I'm just checking into the hotel.
Yeah.
Nope, look it up. Make decisions today. That's awesome, man. Well, I'm super proud of you. I know your family's proud of you. And I mean, it's really cool to see you, because I haven't seen you in a couple months either.
I know. It's a little more slender than it used to be.
Yeah. It's amazing. You should get another picture, get another after pic.
All right.
Put it with that before. Why not? Just to kind of see where you.
I'll get it with that picture, those pictures that I saw me playing soccer last year.
Where that'd be really cool, man. It would be really cool to get you another picture of another soccer picture, where you are now compared to where you were. But I'll take whatever I can get, because I just think it's, the contrast, the comparison is really cool to see where you were, because you're a different person, man.
Absolutely. I feel different. So, and I thank you, man. It was,
you're welcome.
It's been a huge blessing for me to kind of, reconnect with you. We've known each other since we were kids.
Yeah.
And, to kind of be on this journey with somebody that I know and trust. And it's been fantastic.
Thanks, man. Well, I think this video right here, this interview, is going to help a lot of other people too. So you're an inspiration, man. So I appreciate that.
Look, anything I can do to help, I'm always happy. And like, I'm not on social media, so it's not like I can help out. But if people need my email and want to interact, you can give it to them, and I'm happy to kind of keep them anyway.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, good luck. All the best to everybody out there, right, that's working with you. Boy, Dallas is in on the plan right now. We'll keep on making sure that we kind of keep helping him out. Kirk Shepard, right? We got the Blacksburg connection rolling.
That's right, man. Keep changing lives. Keep changing lives, man.
Hey, keep up the good work, brother. You're doing some unbelievable work, and proud of you, excited for you, and know that a lot of more good stuff to come for you.
Thanks so much, man. Appreciate your time today, man.
All right, brother. We'll see you after a while.
All right, brother. See you.
All right, see you, man.
Bye.